currently eLife, or the new engineering building.
A new engineering building. Hello, Taylor Tharp. We are live on Facebook, and you are a student in the University of Alaska Fairbanks College of Engineering and Mines.
That's correct.
Are you graduating this semester? Do you have another year to go, or maybe you're just starting out? Could be your first semester.
I have one more year to go, so next year should be my last year, which I'm excited about.
Is that true for engineering students, or like, do you just got to come right back to get a master's degree and then right for a doctorate, or are you at the upper end of your academic career now?
No, I'm finishing up my bachelor's, and then I plan just to go straight to work. If I do come back for a master's, it'll be while I'm working. So.
Engineers are in high demands, and I know that graduates from the UAF College of Engineering and Mines, they're like banging down your door to get you in the office.
Yeah, it's definitely an odd feeling to be wanted by companies. It's very new.
So it is the end of the semester, and many other students just like you are thinking about their job and their career paths and what's going to happen next. You have a big thing coming up at the end of this month. I'm assuming you're counting down the days to the National Steel Bridge Competition. Talk to me just really quickly about what this competition, sort of an overview of what the competition is.
So yeah, at the end of the month, we'll be going to the national competition in Carbondale, Illinois. So Steel Bridge, there's a lot to it. It has actually surprised me how in-depth the competition actually was, and it's part of what sucked me into it in the beginning was just how complex it can be. But it's pretty much, they send out a set of rules every September, and the rules change every single year. So you can't reuse the same bridge from a previous year because the design criteria changes, the dimensions change, the scoring for how they score the bridge that year changes. So some years it's better to have a lighter weight bridge that deflects more and is faster to construct. And some years it's better to have a stiffer bridge that weighs more and takes a little bit longer to construct. It all depends on the year. But basically we design and fabricate a scaled bridge and take it down to competition. And we just finished up at the regional level competition where we got first place. So now we get to go to Illinois.
Is that the bridge right behind you there? Is that what I'm seeing?
Yeah, so that's a portion of the bridge. It's not fully constructed right now. It's in pieces, but
and we're not going to talk about any details because there's many other schools that are competing, and how you do it is part of the competition.
Yeah, so yeah, we don't disclose too much information before the competitions because it gives other schools the opportunity to kind of upper hand us on it. So
yeah, we're live on Facebook right now. There's some school out there. I noticed that UAA also competes. Is that true?
Yes, UAA, they've been back competing, I want to say, for 3 years now. They've been doing really well. Alaska in general just seems to do awesome at this competition. They ended up getting third place this year. They did awesome. They did a really unique bridge this year, too, a one-sided upper truss, which was really cool.
And I read that they got first place in aesthetics.
Yes, they got first place in display, and we got second place in display. So,
what sort of balance is that for you as an engineer? Because you want it to look cool, but the most important thing is that it functions correctly. How do you find that balance when you're engineering something?
So, typically for aesthetically, I haven't worried too much design-wise on how it's actually going to look in the end, other than cleanness of the steel. I just know that our quality of work on our bridge just tends to stand out on its own compared to other bridges. We don't paint our bridge like a lot of other schools do. We actually just clean it and leave it as raw steel. So you can see all the welds and everything, because the welders do a fantastic job and we like to show off their work. But yeah, for display, it's like we come up with a couple posters to tell people what we did for design and everything, and then just kind of up to the judges on what they think is pretty.
This is a big group project, and especially at the end of the semester, many students know the pain of working on a group project when you've got to, how do you do the scheduling to practice? How do you make sure that everybody is contributing, that it's not just Taylor's bridge and then everyone's going along on Taylor's coattails?
Yeah, it's a large learning experience for whoever kind of design it is and whoever's in charge on how to delegate and how to divvy up the work between everybody. This year, I strongly enforced that we had timesheets. So everybody, whenever they'd come in and they'd put in time, they'd have to record what they did and how much time they put towards the bridge, and that determines who goes to competition with us. So if you put in more time and you actually see it motivate people towards the end, they're like, I don't know if I'm going to get enough time to go to competition. I'm like, you're right there. If you step it up, you can go. So I
And
kind of
that,
as a
from
motivator.
the timesheets, that's why you found out that there was about 1,500 work hours working on the bridge this semester. How did you balance that with all the other courses? Engineering courses are, stereotypically very difficult. How did you
Yeah.
balance this with all your other coursework?
It's tough. The students, we just kind of help each other out and encourage each other to, keep up in our classes and not make this as much of a priority as most of us would like to make it. It's a lot of just reminding each other, like, okay, we've got to get this done, but you also need to do well in your classes. So leave the shop for a while, go work on homework, then come back when you're done. So it's everybody kind of helps keep each other in line.
Also, I noticed that there's from the photos that you shared from the nationals competition, there's this cement canoe as well.
Yes, concrete canoe.
Concrete canoe.
Um, yeah, they did really well this year too. They got third place overall and first place in races. That was fun because we actually got to cheer them on the day after our competition. We stuck around and cheered them on while they raced their canoe, and it's actually on its way back up to Fairbanks right now. It's one of the first canoes we're actually going to bring back up, so people actually see what they get to do.
Do a float during the summertime.
Yeah, we might take it down the Chena. I'm sure
That
they'd
would
be
be
down
awesome.
with that.
That's going to be the next Facebook Live. We'll just be right out there in the river. What music do you listen to as you are working, or can you listen to music? Is it all like very focused, or do you have a playlist that people can find online?
So we use our YouTube channel on our computer to listen to music, which is actually really funny because everybody in the shop has a different taste in music. So our YouTube channel has turned into this conglomeration of everybody's taste in music, and we joke about just how different and diverse it has become, from techno to hard rock to uh, classical sometimes even. It really just depends on who's putting on the music.
But
But
did you
we totally jam out all the time.
discover some new music that you didn't like before, or you didn't know before? You're like, oh my gosh, I love that now.
Yeah, or I think I can tolerate that for a few hours. So,
How do you
yeah.
get psyched for this competition? Like, what do you do to prepare in the morning before you actually go into the room to compete?
Oh, to compete, take a deep breath and cross my fingers that we did everything right, that we didn't miss any calculations. Timed construction is part of the most nerve-wracking portions of the competition because there's things that can go wrong that have nothing to do with your design of the bridge during that portion. It all has to do with practice and how much your team members got to practice building it. The competition itself, though, is very nerve-wracking, but I think we all just kind of stick together and try and take photos and encourage each other and sit there nervously while we watch our teammates.
I've seen steel bridge teams in the past practice, and I've seen some time lapse stuff. There's like a relay you do with bolts and nuts and
Mm-hmm.
tools and all that sort of stuff, and it just must feel amazing when you're out there actually in the middle of the competition.
Yeah, it does. It's actually really cool. It was, like I said earlier, about the rules that intrigued me about Steel Bridge is that everything actually has to start out in a staging yard, and then you have a transportation zone and then you have your actual construction zone where you actually construct the bridge, and the people have to run and grab a member out of the staging yard and then bring it through the transportation zone and construct it. They can't construct it in the transportation zone. So just kind of like a real life simulation, you're not going to construct your building in the middle of the roadway, typically. Uh, um, And so, yeah, it's kind of a relay. You have to do it as fast as you can. But we have a saying, smooth is fast and fast is smooth. I think I said that right. Because anytime that you drop something, if you drop a bolt or you drop a piece of the bridge or a tool, it actually counts against you. You get a penalty, and they add time onto your time to simulate replacing parts in the real world. So
So this
it's
is, it's more than just, I mean, one of the things is maybe as an engineer, you weren't expect to have this competitive part of your studies, but they're also trying to say that this has real world implications outside of the competition.
yeah, yeah, and a lot of it does. And the amount of stuff that I've actually learned from this competition is quite astonishing, and I didn't expect it at all. I expected it to be just kind of a fun group project on the side, but I've learned so much doing it, and I think the other students have as well, that it's so worth it in the end.
Do you, when you're down there at the competitions, do you hang out with the other teams? Do you compare notes like after the competition time, or is it pretty much like, no, you stay over there and we'll stay over here?
We do end up hanging out with some of the other teams. I actually hung out with UAA while we were down there, and one of their girls was just like, "What advice do you have for the new people like going in?" And I was like, "Train your people, like try and get them to trade on stuff beforehand." So we do. We try not to give too many trade secrets, but we do talk and hang out afterwards. It's fun.
So the competition is at the end. It's May 30th, and people can search either the CEM Facebook page or they can search for the Steel Bridge competition
Mm.
online, and they can follow it. What should we do on the day? Can we participate and watch a stream on the day to cheer you on from here?
We haven't actually done that before. I might look into doing something like that. That's definitely a great idea.
Because it's a
Um,
great point of pride for the university, and because we have, of course, the student athletes, which are outstanding for rifle team and hockey
mhm.
and all that sort of competitive stuff. But to have this a STEM competition is really, really exciting for the university.
Yeah, I might actually look into doing that because the timed construction is really cool, and actually, of course, the loading portion as well, because they load 2,500 pounds onto the bridge and see how much it deflects. So by the end of the day, the guys that have loaded it, or girls, have loaded 5,000 pounds. So, um, but yeah, I might look into doing
I
something like
noticed
that.
that the story from the last competition was it was the sensors themselves were like, oh my goodness, there's nothing happening here.
Yeah, so one of our people that was loading, the judges came over and they're looking because they were watching the sensors every once in a while. And all of a sudden, like one of my teammates that's over there, he's just freaking out, but he can't really talk to me because I'm on the audience side at this point. And I'm just like, what is he trying to say? And I finally realized what he was trying to say based on what the judges and stuff were doing too. The sensors they were using had turned off because they hadn't measured any deflection under the load. And they were about a third or so through the 2,500 pound load. I mean, so that wasn't to say it hadn't deflected at all by that point, but it had been long enough that they turned off. And so that was exciting.
Small amount. That's the point. Thank you, Taylor. Thank you so much. You guys going to be practicing and every day between now and nationals?
Probably not every day. We do have some people leaving town as soon as finals are done. But probably as soon as finals week is over, we'll have everybody back in the shop and working on stuff and practicing. So yeah.
We're so excited for you. Congratulations. Thank you for taking some time to chat. Congratulations to the whole team. Please pass it on
I
to them
will.
that they are very special and honored members of Natick Nation.
Well, thank you, Andrew.
Thanks, Taylor. All right, talk to you later.
All right. Bye.
Bye.